the whole globalist, multicultural, corporate, technocratic elite, that whole confluence of events, the whole everyone's life is online, nobody has borders anymore, nobody has an identity, nobody knows who they are, religion has collapsed, nobody has any way of getting any meaning. That might be the cataclysm. It might not be that we're anticipating one or that we're behaving as if it happened. That, I think, could be it.
It's been about 100 years of that crash. So with World War One, we saw a whole generation of men wiped out and obliterated. We saw, they came back, the walking wounded. They had the 1,000-yard stare. They didn't even have PTSD, but back then, you were yelled at if you had PTSD. Just
Mm-hmm.
the shrapnel, it would just liquefy your best friend right there.
Yeah.
And even if you came home, you watched him become a red mist in front of you. We lost a lot of generation there, and then we also saw the transformation from, in America especially, from rural communities into urban communities. We crossed the threshold of more families in urban. Plus, during that time, we had the Industrial Revolution. The average work week was 80 to 100 hours until Henry Ford came along and dropped it to 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
So you had families ripped apart in that capacity. You had the Dust Bowl, the Great Depression, families moving and losing their farms in the communities, clustering in cities, 16-hour work days in
Yeah.
small apartments. You had this massive disintegration of every network that had been there before, with all five safety nets collapsing. The nuclear family, the extended family, the kith and kin network went away,
Yeah.
the religious network went away, your village and or slash neighborhood even went away. So everything disintegrated. So if your parents didn't give you attachment and help you feel loved, your grandmother would, or your cousin, or maybe your priest, or maybe someone in your neighborhood would adopt you. Tolkien was famously adopted by a priest and raised in that structure.
Yeah.
So there was it was a mass disintegration of all of those things that would have helped us say, someone cares about me, I'm all right, I
Right.
can go on. So we no longer have that. Children are not being raised with, I am loved, I'm cared for, people will work with me. It's just this 100 years of ongoing
Yeah.
trauma cycle.
Yeah.
And yet
There's.
there's more. And yet there's more because what also happened is at the very end of that, every survival strategy that got families for generations through that period, at the very end, in the last maybe 20 years, we were told that they were bad and morally wrong.
Yeah, we can't go back.
Everything we were told about this that actually carry us through as society and as humans at the end was disgraced and disassembled.
Yeah.
And we're told now, and the children are told now continuously, that those mechanisms are the things that make you bad. And we hear that everywhere,
Yeah.
on every piece of media and every piece of writing that's published right now. It's all repeating the same message. I think that's confusing.
And then Homath, I saw, and I'd love to hear from you on your previous chart you were drawing about the men and the women separating into more liberal. Yes, you wrote cell phones there. Tell me about that, please.
Want more math? Go to itishomeMath.com and get the newsletter for insider updates, more videos, and other stuff.
Oh yeah, that's where I think that division started to, really take off because everybody started to get like a personalized whatever I believe is true machine in their pocket, and it just becomes an echo chamber. I made another video recently on that where the there's a girl who I'll pull it out in a moment, but there's a girl who makes a few mistakes setting up a date and then reaches out to the hive mind for reinforcement that she's right and perfect and beautiful and it was only the man who did anything wrong. And that is that comfort that they get, like that wasn't available before this. They might be able to call up their girlfriends or whatever, but they probably wouldn't get that strong of a response. I think this girl got millions and millions of views. I think she got like 700,000 likes on it or something, which is probably 7 million views. And that kind of reinforcement for that, you didn't do anything wrong, you're perfect behavior, it just couldn't be matched by anything that came before the support machine in your pocket.
That's so true. In 2007 we saw, I think, the real launch of the iPhone, and we see this explosion of teenage depression, of extreme loneliness, of a collapse of reports of happiness. It just detonated. And one thing people don't much talk about is that when you have your online experiences like that, what you're doing is you're trading in-person connections where you get together, Andre, like you and I sitting here talking. This gives us oxytocin, it gives us serotonin release in our brain, it gives us all these biochemicals we need. And when we shift all of those online to a phone, it actually replaces the oxytocin and serotonin largely with dopamine. So we become dopamine obsessed. And many of the creators of the early smartphones actually came from casino machines. They actually hired
Yeah.
them to draft that and punch us in the brain over with those pieces. So we traded the biochemicals that would have said, I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm part of a tribe, and I'm healthy. And we shifted into dopamine. Then we see an explosion of SSRIs after that, trying to scrape the bottom of the barrel. You're not even getting serotonin, but let's scrape up the fumes and hold on to that for one more second.
Yeah.
You see an average of I believe the rate is 1/4 of American women are on some kind of psych med now.
Yeah.
And she's strapped to her phone, but she's more miserable than ever.
There's
Yeah.
an interesting mechanism that got wrecked as well. So especially in the younger populations, when they run into challenges in life, they had a bad date, whatever, they would typically come to an adult, to a friend group, and they would actually be told that they are wrong and this is what's going on that's correct. Now with a cell phone, you're not looking for reasons you're wrong, you're looking for reasons you're right.
Yeah.
Right. And the point is that you're not, as a teenager, you don't know anything. You're actually learning. Maybe like 95% of your experience is going to come from those years of making mistakes. But if your mistakes are represented not as mistakes, but as reasons for blame to everybody else, what are you going to learn?
That's the difference between make me better and make me feel better. Those
Yeah.
are two very different things.
Yeah, that's I don't know if you guys saw the video or anybody watching right now, but basically the girl and the guy, get the app and they make their profiles. She puts up her pictures. The guy gets the wrong idea about what she looks like. He leaves the date really early, and then she goes and cries to TikTok for support. And I just drew these little things for the hive mind. They've created this culture here where there's always a place to go as long as you have the phone, that you can be told that men are always wrong and women are always right. And you've just got this endless supply of validation that, as you said, like these women don't actually care about her. They just want to tell her that she's perfect so that she will join the hive mind and tell them that they're perfect. They just want those neurotransmitters. They just want that reward mechanism that's going to keep them in their beliefs.
Want more math? Go to itishomemath.com and get the newsletter for insider updates, more videos, and other stuff.